Jaya Shri Radha and welcome. Continuing with our series on NABADWIP, the birthplace of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. Now entering in a new chapter, location of NABADWIP. We will discover through Shastras and historical records that actually NABADWIP is the original place of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, as stated on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavata, and all the contemporary biographies of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, written by his own followers, devotees. Location of NABADWIP. There was no controversy in the past on the subject whether the change in the course of the Bhagirati had anything to do in the determination of the location of NABADWIP. In other cases, also it had been noticed that many famous towns and business centers have lost their importance with the change of the course of a river. Places like Kosim Bazar, Motinjil, Dainhat, etc. are of little importance nowadays. Similarly, it may be said that the battleground of Palasi and Sukasagar has disappeared in the riverbed. The towns of Kalna and Santipur are gradually receding further from the riverbed. In the past, there was not debate whether the Bhagirati flowed along the east or west of NABADWIP. The controversy commenced in the year 1300 Bengali calendar during the ongoing controversy on NABADWIP versus Mayapur. A debate started anew on the course of the Bhagirati, which has not yet been resolved. In our opinion, a review of books dealing with the course of the river, written and published before the commencement of this controversy may help resolve the difference of opinion on the ancient course of the river and location of NABADWIP. Number 1. Thus, NABADWIP was originally situated in the right bank, but the river, after rending into the ancient city, now leaves the modern Nadia on its left bank, Imperial Gazetteer of India. 2. The caprice of the river has not left a fragment of any old building in Lakshman's time. It flowed at the west of the present town at Jehanagar, and Old Nadia, which was swept away by the river, lay in the north of the existing Nadia. The old town was on Krishnanagar side of the river. Calcutta Review. 3. The Bhagirati once held a westerly course, and Old Nadia was on the same side with Krishnanagar. But about the beginning of this century, 19th century, the stream changed and swept the ancient town away. Statistical account of Bengal, Vol. 2. 4. A more important change in the course of the river occurred about the beginning of the century, 19th century. At that time, the town Nadia was situated on the east side of the Bhagirati. So in the map is Nadia will be on the right side of the river Ganges. But the stream suddenly changed its course and left the town of Nadia and a considerable strip of land north and south of the city on the west side of the river. The old channel of the river is now marked by a small branch of the river called the Ganga Parad. Statistical account of Bengal, Vol. 4. 5. The caprice and change of the river have not left a trace of old Nadia. It is now partly charland and partly the bed of the stream that flows to the north of the town. The Ganges formerly held a westerly course, and old Nadia was on the same side with Krishnanagar. 50 years ago, it was swept away by the river. Following this line is a verse in Bengali. 6. The king thought within himself, having bowed to the goddess with the name of Ganga on his lips, he saw the stranger walking over the water from the west. Though there is no particular mention of NABADWIP in Sek Subodai, the remark seems to have been made in reference to Lakshman Sen. Of the three cities of Lakshma, Nabati, Bikrampur, and NABADWIP associated with the memory of Lakshman Sen, only the last west. One was situated on the Ganga. At that time, the Ganga flowed along the west of Navadvip, and hence the king saw the stranger walking over the water from the west. The fact that the Ganga, or the Viragati, in the 16th century flowed along the west of Navadvip via the northern part is corroborated in Murarigupta's chronicle and reads, having spent the night, the Lord went in the morning to the north bank of the Jannavi and walked briskly. Prakaran 2, chapter 12. 8. In the book Chaitanya Mahakavyam, composed by poet Karnapur, there is a description of the north bank of the Ganga, 796. It means that one morning, accompanied by those devotees, Lord Gouranga crossed the Ganga and went to the north bank, where in his disturbed state of mind enjoyed the bliss of rest. 9. Edu Mishra's treatise contains a line, the land in the west of which the Ganga flows on forever. West, meaning the left side. The Ganga is in the left side on the biographies and the writings of the time. In the left side, so to the west side. Nowadays, the Ganga is in the right side, so to the east side of Navadvip. And there is exactly where you take the ferry from Navadvip to go to Mayapur, Miyanpur, and from Miyanpur you came back to Navadvip, where the Ganga is now. 10. 2 manuscripts preserved in the manuscript library of Vishvavarti dealing with the autobiographical accounts of Krittivas Okhya gives a hint of the westerly course of the Ganga that is flowing along the west of Nadia. The Ganga again crossed the southern part of Nadia, leaving Fulia on the north. In the manuscript number 6817 of Vishvavarati, it has been stated, leaving Malanjbari on one side and Fulia on the other, the Ganga became westernly flowing in Nadia. Again, we have the same account from different sources, devotional and historical sources, that the Ganga in the time of Mahaprabhu was flowing from the west, meaning the map to the left side.
This, among many other maps from Gouranga's time, shows the strong Ganges flowing on the left western side of Nabadvip. In contrast to the new digital map, where the Ganges is on the right eastern side of Nabadvip.
In Mukund Dharam's epic Shandi Mangal, composed during the later part of the 16th century, it is narrated that on the way to Sagar Sangam, the meeting place of the Ganga and the sea, from Ujjari, the pilgrims crossed a bed of the old Bhagirathi at Navadvip and a branch river at Patpur or Padanga. It is writing in Shandi Mangal, Navadvip on the left and Patpur on the right, Sahitya Academy Edition. Nadia on the left and Patpur on the right, Calcutta University Edition. Nadia on the left and Patpur on the right, Bangavasi Edition. Merchants used to take rests, spending night and perform duties like cooking and dining at the estuary of Padanga or Patpur Channel. Its corroboration is found in the narrative of Shrimanta's voyage, the travels of Shrimanta, and reads, having bowed at the feet of Chaitanya, the merchants rested and spent the night. Then he plied his 7 ships along Navadvip Patpur. 12. There is a hint in Lal Mohan Bhattacharya's book, Sambandha, that people had to cross the Ganga to go to Vidyanagar. The great sun crossed the Ganga on the way to the city of knowledge for learning. 13. In the epic Annada Mangal, composed by Bharat Chandra Roy in the Saka year 1675, it has been narrated the northern boundary of the kingdom is Murshidabad, while the western boundary is the bed of Ganga Bhagirathi. One more time, have western area, Bhagirathi, Ganga River, western area, left side from Navadvip. So all the quotations are correct. actually, as the writings of the Purvacharyas of Gaudiya Vaishnavism described Navadvip, the land of our Gouranga Mahaprabhu. The present Navadvip was one of the famous spots in the state of Maharaj Krishna Chandra Roy since the time of Raghav Roy and Rudra Roy, naturally, therefore indicating the Ganga as the western boundary. But Bharat Chandra made no mistake in the determination of the location of Navadvip. Again, in Mansinha episode Anna Damangal 3rd chapter, the poet has described the flow of the Ganga along the west of Navadvip. I want to make a small parenthesis here. See, Navadvip, as we know by the Shastras, by the Granthas of the Purvacharyas, such as Chaitanya Charitamrita, this area was the place of philosophy, science, studies, schools. The famous place in all Bharat and in all East was Navadvip, Nadia, right? So these poets, biographers, the ones who are writing history, and the maps cannot be simply mistaken if all the information is available there. They cannot write something upside down. It would be ridiculous, you know? It's like to go to Oxford now, Oxford University, and to say that United States belongs to Africa. To say something, no? Everybody will laugh out loud. Such a stupid idea. So they are writing exactly what was happening here. The Ganga was on the left side of Navadvip. These are good news, of course, for the followers of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and can be a little bit sad news for the followers of Gaudiya Math and ISKCON to know that they have been, I don't know how to say, but tricked regarding the birthplace of Gouranga Mahaprabhu. And this means that you must accept the truth. We cannot be stubborn to say no. Brothers and sisters, the proofs are here in front of your eyes, because these proofs are coming from different sources. There are no proofs writing only for Babajis. Indeed, this book is not written by a Babaji, you know. This book has been written by historian, published by the Archaeological Center of Navadvip. They know something, more than something, right? Gouranga was there, everything is there, historically. So, 14. Poet Vijay Ram Sen Visarat, a contemporary of James Rannell, that in the previous episode, number 2 of Navadvip, we saw some of the maps, right? Wrote the epic Tirtha Mangal in the Saka year 1692. At the time of its composition, 1771 AD, the Bhagirathi discarded its old course and began to flow along the east of present Navadvip. West, left, east, right side. Here is a description of the voyage, of the trip, the travel from Kalna towards north. Listen, please. The boat plied on leaving Nadia on the left. Having crossed Trimohini, it fell into Karya river. The village Navadvip on the bank of the Ganga is as holy as Kashi. Paying respect to Buddha Siv and Nityananda at Navadvip, they left joyfully. During their journey to Trajastali, the pilgrims paid their respect to the Buddha Siv of Navadvip and Lord Nityananda from afar. Jainitai. Following the course of Kari or Jalangi in the eastern side of Trimohini, Miryapur, they reached Goadi, Krishna Nagar. At the time of return, the pilgrims journeyed by boat along the course of the Bhagirathi and disembarked at Navadvip. Vijay Ram's narrative bears the evidence that the idol of Buddha Siv was installed at Shinadanga of Navadvip even before 1770 AD, and that the confluence of Jalangi and Bhagirathi was not far off from Navadvip. 15. The description of the voyage, the travel from Hooghly to Ujjani Mangalkot in Dvija Raghunandan's Pancha Nand Mangal, writing in the later part of the 18th century, indicate the present course of the river. One more time. Leaving Navadvip on the left, it plied southward. In another narrative of Pancha Nand Mangal, we find, "Ply on," cries the prince. Then it reached Patpur. After taking rest at Muktakesi, the little boat rushed toward the waves. The Vedic Brahmins installed the idol of goddess Mukta Kesi at Danda Panitala of Navadvip. The worship of this goddess is very old and is in vogue even now. The mention of the place of worship of goddess Mukta Kesi indicate more distinctly the existence of Navadvip. 16. The author of secular Daroga Kahini was himself a police officer at Navadvip police station in 1853 AD. In his opinion, the Bhagirati was in the north and west of present Navadvip. On the west of the town was the Polta Canal, which was surely the former Bhagirati. This channel flows from the west to the south and meets again with the Bhagirati. Blah 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 blah, too much. Here we have 16 points, not only 15, 16 points, and the book continues mentioning and showing the biographical and historical facts, pramana, why Navadvip is Navadvip and the Ganges changed its course, its side from west to east, and nowadays is in the east. So the book by Narahari Chakrabarti, in where Bhaktivinoda Thakur based his theory on Mayapur, is a book that was written at the time that the Ganges was running from the right side of Navadvip, means the east side. But the mistake here was not only to take as only pramana that book, but not to research all the other biographies, maps, and texts regarding Navadvip on the time of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. But there is another mistake on top of this, is to take the story wrote by Narahari Chakrabarti as to say science or historical. No, it is a poetical writing on Mahaprabhu and philosophical writing on Mahaprabhu. It is not historical. So these two mistakes are there. Now, I honestly speaking, brothers and sisters, honestly speaking, I think that Kedarnath Datta, Bhaktivinoda, was a very intelligent man. I think he did not mistake. He had the intention of creating a new birthplace of Gouranga Mahaprabhu, maybe with the intention of decentralize the cult of Mahaprabhu from Navadvip that was, of course, in the hands of the Goswamis and the traditional lines. So, doing that, moving Gouranga Mahaprabhu birthplace, and somehow take the power of the Goswami castes out from Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Honestly speaking, this is what I think truly happened here. Because Bhaktivinoda was a wise man and very intelligent. So something happened. We will continue with this book. Remember that I am shipping the next week these copies. I have only 10 copies. I am shipping there worldwide. So get in the list if you want a copy. Write me into an email to gaurasanga@gmail.com. In the description is the mail. You can send me email. In the next episode, before continuing this book and all the pramanas that are impressive, we will read this extract, this paper. It's called Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the Three Books, where our Jagadananda Das, who passed away 1 year ago, with who did several videos, and we had some private conversation about some topics that one day I will speak about that. So I made a special extract where Jagadananda, he is speaking about the three books that inspired Bhaktivinoda to create the new Mayapur, the Mayapur inside the Miyanpur, the Muslim land. So he discussed here how bona fide those books are, and actually this is super interesting, and this PDF is ready to download on my Patreon/Paramananda. You can go and download this paper right now and to get ready for the next episode. This adventure, I must to admit, is so interesting. I hope you are enjoying it as well. I will see you in the next. Mahavira Radha Ramana ki jai, Jai Nitya Gaur, Jai Jai Sri Radha.